We've got a resource in front of us today that really digs into something, well, pretty universal, right? Especially if you're studying maybe in the US, the UK, Canada.
Yeah, navigating the academic world.
Mm.
This guide, it's positioned as like a blueprint.
A blueprint, exactly. Aimed at taking you from maybe feeling swamped by exams or even just thinking, hey, I'm just not smart, to
Just
actually,
boosting your performance, feeling more confident.
right. And the core idea here, the source seems really clear on this.
Yeah,
It's quite liberating.
it is. It suggests struggling isn't, some sign you're not cut out for it. It often just means you haven't figured out how to learn effectively.
Yeah, it pushes back hard against that idea that success is just something you're born with.
Totally. So our goal here in this deep dive is to pull apart this complete study success blueprint, as they call it.
And really pull out the key strategies, the techniques, and maybe crucially the mindset shifts.
The things you can actually use to make a difference.
Yeah, and it seems like it covers a lot of ground.
Oh, absolutely. From like the brain science of learning
Nunnery techniques.
to time management, note-taking, even things like motivation, sleep, what you eat.
It's quite holistic.
It really tries to be.
Okay, so let's dive in. Where better to start than that fundamental idea the source tackles first? This belief about intelligence.
Right, the idea that it's fixed. Like you got a certain amount and that's it.
This guide really wants to bust that myth wide open, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That feeling of being smart or not smart, it presents that as a major hurdle. But the source is firm. That's just not how the brain works.
And it uses science to back this up. Talk about brain plasticity.
Exactly. It draws on neuroscience, explaining the brain isn't static like old hardware. It's plastic. It can change, grow, form new connections.
So it can actually become more efficient.
Yes. And the key driver for that change, it's the effort you put in daily, the challenges you engage with.
So feeling like I'm just bad at this subject or I can't get any smarter, that's just a feeling, not biological destiny.
That's what the source argues. It uses a great analogy. Intelligence is like a muscle.
Okay.
You wouldn't say someone who can't lift heavy weights is just inherently weak forever. You'd say they need to train, right?
Where they need to work at it.
Same idea here. Academic ability, intelligence, they're skills you strengthen with the right kind of training and consistent effort. It shifts the focus from what you are to what you do.
Which is incredibly empowering and sets us up nicely for the next bit, studying smarter, not just harder. The source asks a pointed question about that.
Yeah. What's the point of studying for 10 hours if you only remember 10%?
It really makes you think about effectiveness.
Definitely. It's not about logging hours. It's about the quality of that study time. Are you actually retaining information? Can you use it later?
And they highlight two specific techniques backed by science. First up, active recall.
Active recall. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Instead of just rereading your notes passively.
Which is what most of us do.
Right. You actively test yourself. Close the book. Ask yourself, what were the main points? Turn headings into questions and try to answer them without peeking.
So it's that act of trying to pull the information out of your own head. That's the cue.
That's exactly it. The source stresses that the effort of retrieving, even if you stumble, that's the learning moment. It fires up the neural pathways for retrieval.
Makes them stronger.
Yeah. Every successful recall makes it easier next time, especially under pressure, like in an exam. It's like weightlifting for your memory.
Okay, active recall. And the second technique works alongside it, focusing on when you do the recalling. Spaced repetition.
Yes. This is the counter to cramming. The source basically says cramming is, well, pretty useless for long-term memory.
We've all been there, though.
Oh, for sure. But spaced repetition is about reviewing material at increasing intervals. Maybe review it a day later, then a few days, then a week, then a couple of weeks.
And the source mentions tools for this, like apps.
It does. Things like Anki or Quizle get a nod. They use algorithms to show you stuff you're shaky on more often and stuff you know well less often. Automates the spacing.
And there's science behind this spacing idea.
Loads of it. Spacing dramatically boosts long-term retention compared to mass practice trying to learn it all at once. It works with how your brain consolidates memories over time.
Okay, so we can get smarter, and we've got active recall and spaced repetition. What about notes? The bread and butter of studying for many.
The source has an interesting take here. It says that most people see notes as just like storage containers.
Filing cabinets for information.
Yeah, but the real value, according to this guide, is using notes for understanding, for processing the material as you go.
That's a shift. It's not just recording, it's sense-making. And they suggest a couple of methods. Cornell method first.
The Cornell method, yeah. It's structured,
Hmm.
You divide your page, main notes area, a smaller column on the left for cues or questions, and a summary section at the bottom.
And the process is key, right? Take notes, then go back later, write questions in the Q column.
That your main notes answer. And then summarize the whole page at the bottom in your own words.
So you're forced to revisit or reprocess the information.
Exactly. Multiple times.
Right.
In different ways. It embeds it deeper. The other method is mind maps.
More visual, less linear.
Definitely. You start with a central idea and branch out with connected concepts. Uses keywords, colors, images maybe.
Yeah.
It's about seeing the connections visually.
Kind of mirrors how the brain makes associations.
That's the idea.
Uh,
And the source doesn't say one is better than the other.
no, it's more about finding your fit.
Precisely. Pick the method that helps you actively engage and understand. Experiment. See what clicks with your brain.
Okay, let's switch gears. Time management. The source calls it the silent superpower.
And it gets that great point. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The star student, the one struggling. Time is the great equalizer.
It's about how you use it,
Right. And they tackle that feeling of being totally overwhelmed.
which is so common.
Yeah. The source suggests it's often not laziness, but a lack of system. No clear priorities, everything feels urgent, so you either freeze up or just flail around inefficiently.
They make a point that struggling students aren't avoiding work, they're often just drowning.
Exactly. Feeling out of control. So they offer strategies. First, the Eisenhower matrix.
The urgent important grid.
That's the one. Divides tasks into 4 boxes. Urgent and important, do it now. Important but not urgent, schedule it. Urgent but not important, delegate or minimize. And neither, eliminate.
And the key insight for students, where should they aim to spend their time?
They say great students live in the important but not urgent quadrant. That's proactive work. Starting assignments early, regular review, seeking help before it's a crisis.
Staying ahead of the curve.
It prevents fires later on. Then there's the Pomodoro technique.
A timer method, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
Basically, yeah, 25 minutes of focused work, a short 5-minute break. Do that 4 times, then take a longer break, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
And why does the source say this is so effective?
I love their explanation. It works because it's human.
Okay.
It acknowledges we need rhythm, bursts of focus, then recovery, makes big tasks less scary. It's just 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And it builds focus endurance while preventing burnout.
Smart techniques, good time management. But the source goes deeper, right? Into physical well-being, the academic trinity.
Yeah. Food, sleep, and your brain. They ask, what if I told you that your breakfast matters as much as your books?
Making that direct link.
Absolutely. How you fuel and rest your body directly impacts your ability to focus, learn, remember.
And sleep seems like a big one.
Huge. Non-negotiable, really. Sleep is when your brain consolidates memories, files things away. It's essential cleanup and rewiring time.
So skimping on sleep before an exam is counterproductive.
Totally. Like trying to run a race exhausted. The source strongly advises 7 to 9 hours. It's presented as a requirement for peak thinking, not a luxury.
And they even mention specific brain-boosting foods.
They do. Blueberries for memory support, walnuts for cognitive clarity, eggs, the choline in yolks for mental energy, green tea for that calm alertness.
There's a quote about food and focus.
Every bite you take is either feeding your focus or fueling your fatigue.
Wow. Makes you think about that afternoon slump differently.
For sure. Small choices add up.
Okay, but even with all the right habits, studying can be tough emotionally. People feel like giving up.
The source acknowledges that.
Hmm.
Those moments of maybe crying alone, feeling like the struggle is invisible.
But it doesn't leave you there.
No, it immediately counters with, you are not alone, you are not weak, and most importantly, you are not giving up. It's about resilience.
And finding your why is key.
Definitely. When the how gets tough, remembering why you're doing this, who you want to make proud, maybe who you want to prove wrong, that's the fuel.
They also offer some quick motivation boosters, mini motivation hacks.
Yeah, little things. Watching a quick motivational video, writing your goals down, putting them somewhere visible, a vision board, and importantly, rewarding small victories.
Finished a hard chapter, allow yourself that short break.
Exactly. Positive reinforcement. And they end that section with a powerful line.
You are a warrior of your own mind.
Yeah, reframing that internal battle. Which leads right into tackling external distractions.
Which are everywhere. The source says, focus is freedom.
So true in our digital age. Every ping, every notification, every urge to multitask just fragments your attention.
They list the usual suspects. Phone alerts, background noise, social media black holes.
and trying to do too many things at once, which usually means doing none of them well.
So what tools do they suggest to actually win back focus?
Things like the Forest app, grow a virtual tree by staying off your phone.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Study with me videos on YouTube for a sense of shared focus, noise-canceling headphones, and just creating a dedicated study space, physically or mentally.
A place where work happens. Ultimately, it comes down to discipline, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the source defines it nicely. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now, prioritizing the long game over immediate gratification.
To bring all this home, the source shares real stories. People who struggled.
Behind every top grade, there's a story of struggle, it says. These aren't miracle stories. They're about applying principles.
Like Maya from Toronto.
Right. Failing grade 11 math felt terrible about her 48%. But instead of giving up, she adopted that growth mindset. Short, focused study sessions daily, active problem solving.
And the result?
Got her grade up to 87% in 5 months, became a math tutor later, shows what consistent, targeted effort can do.
Amazing. And Elijah from the UK dealing with ADHD?
Yeah, traditional studying was impossible for him. But the Pomodoro technique gave him structure, manageable chunks, and he used body doubling studying with a friend, even virtually.
Finding strategies that worked for him.
Exactly. Not fighting his brain, but working with it. He aced his exams, got into uni.
And Samantha in Texas with anxiety.
Severe exam anxiety, panic attacks. Her story highlights managing the mental health side. Breathing techniques, therapy, journaling. It wasn't just about study skills.
Her grades improved, but she also found peace.
Right. It shows well-being is foundational. These stories make the advice feel real, attainable, and they circle back to mindset.
Actively rewiring your thinking. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset.
Yeah. Fix says, I can't. Growth says, not yet. Seeing challenges as chances to learn, not proof you're inadequate.
And they give examples of flipping that internal script.
Instead of, I'm not smart enough, well, I'm learning something new. Instead of, what if I fail? Ask, what will I gain by trying? Swap, I always mess up, for I'm improving with every attempt.
It's about conscious reframing.
It takes practice, but their core advice is simple. Talk to yourself like you would to a friend. Be kind, focus on effort and growth.
Okay, all this leads up to the big day, the exam. The source says it's execution time.
Not the day to panic, it's the day to execute.
Yeah.
Trust the prep work.
So before the exam, what's key?
Maybe a quick review of summaries, but definitely no cramming. Focus on rest, 7-8 hours sleep, a good meal. Get your stuff ready the night before. Minimize morning stress.
And during the exam, if panic starts creeping in.
Deep breaths. That 4-second inhale, hold, exhale cycle can really help center you. If a question stumps you, skip it. Come back later. Keep an eye on time, but don't obsess.
And that inner voice, what should it be saying?
Positive self-talk. I'm prepared. I've done my best. One question at a time. Keep it focused and grounded.
And the source's final thought for exam day itself.
You've worked, you've grown. Now it's time to trust. Trust the process, trust yourself.
So if we pull all this together, the big message from this guide is,
It's really about empowerment. You're not stuck with the intelligence you were born with. You can actively build it. You have the power, using these strategies and mindset shifts, to change your academic path.
by applying things like active recall, spaced repetition, smart notes, time management, looking after yourself, finding motivation, managing distractions, and crucially, changing how you talk to yourself.
You can see real improvement, significant breakthroughs, not just tiny steps. It's a blueprint for building confidence and competence.
And the source leaves us with a powerful final thought, something that goes beyond just grades.
Yeah, it's really profound. You are more than your grades, more than your past. You are a force becoming smarter, stronger, and more self-aware each day. Let no exam define your worth.
That's a perspective worth holding on to, isn't it, as you navigate your own learning journey?
Absolutely. Remember, the growth is the real prize.